Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Top Quotes by Top Guns, where we dive deep into the wisdom, wit, and words of the world's most inspiring figures. I'm your host, Quote Guy, and today we're paying tribute to a true Hollywood icon who left us far too soon, Eric Dane. Known to millions as the charming Dr. Mark McSteamy Sloan on Grey's Anatomy, the complex Cal Jacobs on Euphoria, and a devoted family man, Eric passed away on February 19, 2026, at just 53 after a courageous battle with ALS. But his legacy? It's immortalized in his powerful quotes about overcoming life's toughest blows. Today, we'll explore Eric's greatest setbacks and how he rose above them, his whirlwind ride with sudden fame and that shocking exit from Grey's, the enduring love story with his wife Rebecca Gayheart through separation and reunion, and his heartfelt final advice to his daughters. We'll pack it with his own words, plenty of quotes straight from the man himself. Let's honor his resilience and spirit. Stick around, this is going to be moving. Segment 1, Early Setbacks and the Battle with Addiction. Let's start at the beginning. Eric Dane's life wasn't all red carpets and spotlights. Born in San Francisco in 1972, he faced profound loss early on. At just 7 years old, he lost his father to suicide, a self-inflicted gunshot wound tied to his dad's alcoholism. This trauma, as Eric later reflected, shaped him deeply. In his posthumous Netflix interview Famous Last Words, Eric said, "I think trauma reaches somebody on a cellular level. It's really hard to get it out of your system. The only thing you do is learn how to deal with it. I've been working through them very long. I ended up going to a treatment center for trauma and depression, solely related to my dad, because that's where the trauma came from." That early pain echoed into adulthood, fueling a long struggle with addiction. Eric battled drugs and alcohol for years, achieving sobriety through AA before Grey's Anatomy, but relapsing during the 2007 writers' strike. He entered rehab in 2011 for prescription painkiller dependency after a sports injury, and in 2017, depression halted production on The Last Ship. Eric was brutally honest about it. In a 2010 slides, was softens den 24, ben pretty died. On Bansur inas dianduder and died admitted, "If you take the whole 8 years on Grey's Anatomy, I was van suwa for net up longer than I was sober, and that was when things started going sideways for me." He added, "It was overwhelming and I think I just wanted to pretend that it wasn't and that I was comfortable with it." But how did he overcome it? Through relentless self-awareness, therapy, and structure. Eric credited work for keeping him grounded. "I'm not good with a lot of time on my hands. I need structure, and Grey's Anatomy provided a lot of structure for me." He returned to sobriety multiple times, saying in a 2024 Fox News interview, "And I no longer use substances and alcohol and things of that nature to deal with any of that stuff, good or bad." In Famous Last Words, he reflected on regrets. Regrets? Yes. What? "I regret some of the decisions I made, some of the choices I made, surrounding drugs and alcohol." Eric turned his pain into empathy, noting addiction made him softer and more understanding. His journey reminds us, recovery isn't linear, but persistence pays off. Powerful stuff. Eric's candor about addiction not only helped him heal but inspired others to seek help. Segment 2, Sudden Fame, McSteamy Mania, and the Grey's Exit. Now, let's talk fame, the double-edged sword. Eric skyrocketed to stardom in 2006 as Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy. Fans dubbed him McSteamy after that iconic towel scene, but sudden celebrity, it hit hard. Eric joined the show sober for years, but fame eroded that. He told Good Morning America in 2024, "I had my wits about me, but if you take the whole 8 years on Grey's Anatomy, I was ed up longer than I was sober." The pressure was immense. Act like you've been there, but you haven't been there. Then came the 2012 exit, his character's dramatic plane crash death. Was it his choice? No. Eric clarified in Entertainment Weekly, "I didn't leave so much as I think I was let go." Addiction played a role. They didn't let me go because of that, although it definitely didn't help. But the real kicker? Cost. I was starting to become very expensive for the network. He admitted, "I wasn't the same guy they had hired, so I had understood when I was let go." Eric praised Shonda Rhimes. "She protected us fiercely. I love Shonda Rhimes, and she protected me, but I was probably fired. It wasn't ceremoniously like, 'You're fired.' It was just like, "You're not coming back." How did he overcome? Acceptance and forward momentum. No bitterness. He pivoted to the last ship in euphoria. In famous last words, he viewed it as growth. Fame taught him humility. Look at that. McSteamy in his element. Eric handled fame's highs and lows with grace, turning a setback into a new chapter. Segment 3. Love, separation, and devotion in the end. Eric's personal life was as compelling as his roles. He met actress Rebecca Gayheart in 2003. It was love at first sight. He told a friend, "I'm gonna marry that girl." They eloped in 2004, welcoming daughters Billy in 2010 and Georgia in 2011. But after 13 years, challenges mounted. Rebecca filed for divorce in 2018, citing irreconcilable differences amid Eric's addiction and depression. Yet, they never finalized it. In famous last words, Eric took blame. "I think Rebecca was more willing to show up and do her part than I was." He added, "We still love each other deeply. I just think we don't want to live with each other, but there's a lot of love there." Rebecca echoed, "It's just a season. It wasn't a failure. It was a huge success." They co-parented beautifully. "We are best of friends. We are really close. We are great co-parents." In March 2025, just before Eric's ALS diagnosis went public, Rebecca dismissed the divorce. She became his devoted caregiver. Eric gushed, "I will never, by the time anybody sees this, have fallen in love with another woman as deeply as I fell in love with Rebecca. She is the mother of my children." Rebecca said, "People support each other no matter what." In his final days, surrounded by family, their bond shone. Eric called their relationship a huge success despite ups and downs. True love endures. Eric and Rebecca's story shows devotion transcends labels. True love endures. Eric and Rebecca's story shows devotion transcends labels. Segment 4. The ALS battle and final triumph. Eric's ultimate setback came in early 2025. ALS diagnosis. Symptoms started in 2023. By announcement, he'd lost use of his right arm. He faced it head-on, becoming an advocate for Target ALS and lobbying for research. He told people, "This disease takes something from me every day, but I won't let it take my spirit." To News, "I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off." He hoped, "I want to ring every bell. I have 2 daughters at home. I want to see them graduate college, get married, maybe have grandkids." Overcoming. Advocacy and positivity. "I'm very hopeful. I'm pretty resilient." He continued acting, turning tragedy into impact. "It's imperative that I share my journey because I don't feel like my life is about me anymore." Eric's fight raised awareness, proving even in defeat, you can win for others. In the 10 months following his public ALS diagnosis, Eric didn't retreat. He charged forward with aggressive advocacy that shook up the fight against this devastating disease. First, a quick backstory. ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that attacks motor neurons, leading to muscle weakness, paralysis, and eventually, death. There's no cure, and it affects about 30,000 Americans. Eric's symptoms started in late 2023 with weakness in his right hand. He was officially diagnosed in late 2024, but kept it private until April 10, 2025, when he revealed it exclusively to People magazine. By then, the disease was advancing fast. In June, he shared in interviews that he had only one functioning arm left. By October, he was in a wheelchair full-time. But Eric didn't wallow. He said in a Netflix special, Famous Last Words, that he wanted to use his time to make a difference. He knew the clock was ticking, so he went aggressive, joining organizations, lobbying politicians, and raising millions. One of Eric's first bold moves was partnering with I Am ALS, a leading advocacy group. Right after his announcement, he joined them to launch the Push for Progress campaign. This wasn't some small fundraiser, it was a 3-year plan to accelerate ALS research, expand access to experimental treatments, and secure over $1 billion in federal funding. Eric emphasized that every dollar donated could unlock $400 in government funds. He didn't just lend his name, he hit the ground running. Eric walked the halls of Congress, literally when he could, advocating for the renewal of the ACT for ALS Act, set to expire in 2026. This law provides crucial funding for research and gives patients early access to promising therapies. In October 2025, despite his worsening condition, Eric met with Representative Eric Swalwell to push for its extension. "This disease takes something from me every day, but I won't let it take my spirit." His efforts raised awareness to unprecedented levels, with I Am ALS calling him a fierce advocate who showed up with courage and conviction. Eric's aggression extended to other fronts. In September 2025, the ALS Network honored him with their Advocate of the Year award for his commitment to raising awareness and support.
Facing ALS myself, I know the challenges are real and relentless. But together, we can move closer to a world without this disease.
Then, in December 2025, Eric joined the board of directors at Target ALS, a nonprofit focused on accelerating research for treatments and a cure. He became the spokesperson for their year-end campaign, Ending ALS Starts With You, aiming to raise $500,000. Thanks to his star power and relentless promotion, the campaign surpassed its goal, bringing in even more funds. Eric appeared on shows like Good Morning America, tearing up while discussing his one functioning arm, but always pivoting to call for action. He even leveraged his acting career. In an episode of NBC's Brilliant Minds, he played a character living with ALS, shining a spotlight on the disease's realities. And let's not forget his meetings with high-profile politicians. Senator Lisa Murkowski praised him after a personal meeting, saying she witnessed his passion firsthand and vowed to carry on his fight. What made Eric's advocacy so aggressive was his refusal to sugarcoat anything. In interviews, he openly shared the brutal progression, losing his right arm, then needing a wheelchair. He told the BBC he was moving the needle on ALS, using his final months to ensure others wouldn't suffer as he did. Doctors like those at Mass General Brigham remembered him for raising money and positivity. Eric's family supported him every step, and he credited them in his last words. But his focus was outward, helping the ALS community. As one tribute said, his advocacy was the most powerful role of his career. He turned personal tragedy into a national call to arms, pressuring Congress for billions and inspiring donations that will fund research long after he's gone. Eric's impact is already felt. Donations surged after his death, and organizations like I Am ALS and Target ALS are carrying his torch. Colleagues like Jessica Capshaw from Grey's Anatomy mourned him, highlighting how he handled his diagnosis heroically. But the fight isn't over. ALS still claims lives too soon. Eric's aggressive actions show what one person can do with determination. He lobbied, fundraised, and spoke out when it was hardest, proving advocacy can change laws and save lives. Closing segment. Last advice to his daughters. Finally, Eric's poignant farewell in famous last words, his message to Billy and Georgia. He said, "Billy and Georgia, these words are for you. I tried, I stumbled sometimes, but I tried. Overall, we had a blast, didn't we? I remember all the times we spent at the beach. Those days, pun intended, were heaven." His 4 lessons. 1. Live now. The present is all you have. Treasure it. Cherish every moment. 2. Fall in love with something. That love eventually got me through my darkest hours. 3. Find your people. Just show up. And love your friends with everything you have. 4. Fight. I hope I've demonstrated that you can face anything with dignity. Fight, girls, and hold your heads high. Closing. Billy and Georgia, you are my heart. You are my everything. Good night. I love you. Those are my last words. Eric Dane, actor, advocate, father. His quotes teach us to fight, love, and live fully. Rest in peace, McSteamy. Thanks for watching. Carpe diem.